This is Prowl 1701, and today we're doing an updated review for the Ultrasabers Bellicose. Now, it's been about 5 years since I did my original review on this saber, and much like I just did on my Initiate recently, I kind of wanted to give my updated thoughts on it. I'm not going to do that for every saber in my collection. A couple of these are really important for various reasons, and I want to kind of touch on that. For instance, this Bellicose here is actually the first saber that I didn't choose to get. I won this in a raffle, my first Ultrasabers raffle win. And it's interesting to note because the Bellicose is a saber that, going by the pictures, I thought it looked interesting, but I didn't think I ever would have bought it. You know, it's one of those, it looks nice, but I don't want to spend the money on it. I couldn't have been more wrong. I'm really glad they sent me this saber. This is really one of those sabers that you have to, I think, have in hand to fully appreciate, because having a saber physically in your presence to where you can actually hold it, swing it, get a feel for it, see how comfortable it is, can really change your perception of a saber. You can't always just go by pictures on the internet. This saber was a great example of that for me. It does have sound. It has what at the time was their most advanced soundboard, their V3 soundboard, because I did get this one in, again, 2013. I did my initial review in November of 2013, which you can find right up here, actually. Matter of fact, we might even add in some highlights from that initial review real quick and see how the saber compares to what I thought of it then. Let's go ahead and see if we can run some of that real fast. It's got a few scratches and dings on it. Some of them it came with. Not really a big deal. Gives it a little weathered look. Some of them I've added from dueling and carrying and everything. Got a blue AV switch with it, which I really like. Looks good on it. Let's see. Very fond of the Bellicose. This has a good, comfortable feel on it. I was on the fence about it originally. I wasn't sure if I would like it or not. And since I received it as a prize, they just kind of give out random prizes depending on what place you get. Feels really nice. You'll notice the blue is much lighter than the Guardian blue that I have my Initiate in, which I like. This one looks more like Luke's lightsaber in Empire Strikes Back color-wise, as opposed to the Return of the Sith colors. And Ultrasabers themselves have several different sound fonts up, but a lot of the users who are members of the forums also add their own sound fonts that you can add. This is a Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker sound font that one of the users put on there. I can't remember his name, but he did a great job with it. I really like that. It fits this saber really well for me. I like the activation theme a lot, and the power down, and the idle hum really gets me really well. And let's go over kind of what I think of it now. I really like the shroud. If you've seen my reviews before, you know I tend to like curved emitters or slanted emitters, much like the Prophecy, the Graflex, and the Saberforge Prodigy. But I really like this one as well. It's got this little slope right here, kind of like a shroud or a hood over it, and of course you have the blade holder right here. Now the blade holder, you can get this in silver or black. Since I got this as a prize, I didn't get to choose my setup. It just came the way it came. This little fake button right here is customizable. You can get red, green, blue, or brass, copper, gold, silver. Mine came silver. I would have preferred something besides silver, I think, here to make it pop a little more. But that's what they sent me, and it looks fine. The blade is removable, although it's a little more difficult on this one because you have to loosen this and the whole blade holder piece comes out, and then there's a couple screws in there you have to loosen to get the blade out. So removing the blade for this one is a little more cumbersome than with most sabers, so I usually just leave the blade in there. I do keep an Ultra Edge saber in this. I do, for most saber colors, especially the blues, prefer the standard mid-grade blade. But this one came with an Ultra Edge saber in it, and just kind of for tradition's sake, I've always kept an Ultra Edge saber in it. I think I had a mid-grade saber in it briefly one time just to check it out, but I prefer it, and it's this one specifically with the Ultra Edge on it. Got some nice little grooves and lines right there. We have our AV switch right here. We'll get back to that. Nice black grip. We have a CoverTech wheel, which is on the proper side. Sometimes the Bellicose comes with a wheel on the left, and that's very in the way of how I hold the saber. But it is on the proper side. And unlike the usual Bellicose, I have a silver CoverTech wheel. The Bellicose usually comes with a black CoverTech wheel to match this part of the handle. Mine's unusual. Mine came with a silver one, and I will admit I actually prefer that. And then, of course, the pommel. I have a very unusual pommel if you look at it, because Ultrasabers offers 2 pommels for their Bellicose, and mine doesn't match either of those. Normally, they have one that has longer grooves with 1 line right here. See how mine has 2 lines? Usually they have an option that has longer grooves and 1 line. Or they have another option which has shorter grooves and 3 lines right here. Mine, however, has kind of medium grooves with 2 lines, and I've never seen another Bellicose that has a pommel quite like this. It's a unique pommel. I'm guessing it was a machining error, but I love it. It just makes my saber a little more rare, and I love that. So, we have a blue illuminated AV switch right there, which looks fantastic and matches the Arctic Blue blade, which is their lighter blue. It doesn't look exactly the way it illuminates right here. It looks a little closer to the way it's illuminating here. It has kind of a blue-gray look in person, or a very light blue, but not quite the same shade of light blue as my Graphics, because Arctic Blue, unlike Guardian Blue, is a color that's made by mixing LEDs. It mixes 2 different LEDs to create Arctic Blue. So the color result varies from hilt to hilt. This one is more of a sky blue, and it looks really good. It goes really well with the saber. Have an Ultra Edge standard mid-grade, or excuse me, an Ultra Edge mid-grade mid-grade blade with a rounded tip, because I prefer a rounded tip. And it has a customized sound font that I can't remember what it is, because I set it up years ago and the computer that I had the sound font stored on died. I have a different computer now, and I don't actually remember what sound font this is, but it sounds really good, and I really like it on the saber. Speaker right there, when the sound comes out. This one actually has flash on clash on it. Most of my sabers do not. I don't know how well you can, that's showing up on camera, but the blade does actually flash silver when it clangs. The only other saber I have that has flash on clash is my Crimson Reaper, but again, since this was a raffle prize, it was included, and it was a nice touch. Also, you can hit the lockup sound, and the blade will alternate between the primary color and the flash on clash color. In this case, Arctic Blue and Adegan Silver. And that's pretty cool. Saber is also really comfortable. Even though it doesn't have grooves or choke points, it's pretty much all the same width throughout for the most part. But I like to grip right here and right here. And it is actually really good for spinning and dueling. I don't actually duel with this saber, and I really should. It has picked up a few scratches over the years, I can see. I think I dueled with it a little bit years ago. I don't use it as much now. I need to break it out more. It'd be a good dueling saber. Keep from scratching up my other newer, prettier hilts. Also, the batteries are easy to get to. The pommel is MHS compatible, so you can swap it out with other pommels. And these are your batteries. You just pop those up, put them on a charger, put them back in. They are lithium-ion batteries. Pop that right back in. Screw that back in, which is really trickier to do when trying to look through the camera. And there we go. Looks really, really good. And now we'll kind of just take a quick minute to show what it looks like while spinning. So as I was saying before, it's really comfortable to hold. Choke point, no choke points, but where I like to grip here and here is perfect. I have no problems using this saber, and if I really wanted to duel with it, I think I'd be really good with it. Easy to spin. Once again, I don't have room to work. I bought a couch I miss basically having my living room as a sparring room. But the saber is really easy to use. It's easy to spin. It weighs a little more than what I'm used to. I'm used to a slightly smaller hilt like the Prophecy or the Prodigy or the Initiate or the Dominix or the Eon. Those are a little smaller and a little lighter. This thing's actually not that much heavier, not enough to slow me down. It's kind of one of those, if I was dueling with it, it would probably take me a minute maybe to get used to the additional weight and have to compensate for it, but it's very slight. And it does have a little more length than I'm used to that I think I would have to adjust to. That came out wrong. But again, I think I would adjust to it rather quickly. So yeah, it's still one of my best sabers. It ranked really high on my top 10 list. I think it might have been like number 4. I forget right off the top of my head. My list fluctuates. But the Ultrasabers Bellicose is a great saber. Don't underestimate it. It's easily one of the, I won't say it's a big hilt, but it's bigger than what's usually outside my comfort zone, but it's still fantastic, easy to duel with, looks great, definitely has presence on a shelf, and you can still use it very, very effectively. It's very easy to adjust to. So this is Prowl 1701. Don't forget to click the like button. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. Don't forget to check out my other channel, Another Sci-Fi Guy, where I do all sorts of sci-fi related reviews like Doctor Who, Babylon 5, stuff like that. I should have the I Am 8-bit Mega Man re-releases they've done for Mega Man 2 and Mega Man X in sometime. Hopefully in the next couple weeks I'll be unboxing those, and I'll have that on that channel because I do consider Mega Man a sci-fi related property. And I'm a huge Mega Man fanatic. These are all Mega Man games from here on and Mega Man games from there on. So check that out. Click a like. Let me know what you think. Just when I first got it, I don't mind that. A lot of the nicks and scratches are ones I've added to it just from dueling. These are great not only as showpieces, but they duel really well. They're made for dueling or for show. They're fantastic at that. I've dueled with this one several times. It works really well. And this is the Bellicose in Arctic Blue with silver clash on clash. And I appreciate you watching. Thank you.